Thank you so much for having me. And I want to just congratulate everyone from Art House Productions on another stellar virtual JC Fridays. It is hard to do virtual events, and you guys get better every single time. And I would like to welcome all the newbies for joining us, because now Jersey City doesn't feel like we're separate and apart when we're all here together virtually. I think this is probably the best showing I've seen so far since I've been doing the virtual hangouts with you guys. So this is wonderful. And thank you so much for joining me in my studio. And I really want you to see some of the things that I've been working on. So I'm gonna pick up my phone here and flip the screen around and show you some of the baggage carts I've been working on. So I'm gonna start over here and well, actually, let's start with the very first one I made. So this baggage cart, I basically found this shopping cart in the area, and living in the Powerhouse Art District, there are lots of shopping carts that show up in the area. And I have been walking past them for the longest time, thinking, I really want to do something with this. And so around Thanksgiving, I just said, well, I'm grabbing that shopping cart and I'm gonna go. And pretty much all the materials I'm using here were leftover yarns, leftover pieces, or even some of this caution tape, because of so much construction going on down here. I've been picking this construction tape off the street, and I just decided to weave it into this piece. And if you look down here at the bottom, you can also see that I added some weaving down at the bottom as well. And then, of course, I couldn't stop there, because when I started making this a cart and sharing about it on Instagram, other people showed up and said,
Hey, Theda, I think you muted yourself. There we go.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. So I'm not sure where I had inadvertently muted myself, but this shopping cart showed up once I shared the first shopping cart. And you can see I'm like weaving the seats. I used this African fabric. I got pom-poms going on. I wove the part down at the bottom. This is Brian. He says hello. He's my studio assistant. In fact, Brian's saliva is literally on every single piece of yarn that I use. This piece here, I, on Christmas, started to watch the Bridgerton movie, and I sat for 8 hours straight tying these ribbons onto this net. And when I looked at the net, I noticed the net had the same vibe as the cart, and decided the two needed to go together. And when I finished watching Bridgerton, I automatically started watching it again. So people wonder, how long did it take you to tie those ribbons? 16 hours it took to tie these ribbons, because I ended up, I watched the show both, and at the end I was like, oh wow, this thing is done. So I do want to talk a little bit about the baggage carts. Really where this concept comes from is emotional baggage. We all have some emotional baggage. It just manifests differently for each of us. Some of us have suitcases of pain. Some might have a little tiny backpack. I'm an empath, so I carry my own disappointments, and I also carry those of other people, mostly racial trauma. And being alive really means you have the capacity to carry these past experiences and learn from them. But there's a point when then your baggage becomes too much. Carrying too much emotional baggage can really stop you from being alive, stop you from growing, and stop you from intimacy. How you choose to handle your baggage is what makes a difference. And so we have a choice to let it define us or to let it go and move forward. For me, my baggage carts are vessels for unresolved emotional baggage related to racial trauma. So each of these carts are woven with paracord, yarn tool, fishing nets, pom-poms, pony beads, zip ties, you name it, whatever I can find. So I'm gonna turn my screen around again and hopefully don't mute myself in the process. Okay, here I am. And I'm going to just show you some of the materials that I'm using on this cart that I'm currently working with. It's this one right here. Recycled t-shirt yarn. Red Heart yarn. Gotta love it. This is cheap yarn. You can find this anywhere. Paracord. All different. This is like, this glows in the dark, this paracord. Rainbow pom-poms. Gotta love it. African fabric that I cut into 1-inch strips. More colored paracord. And I've been making these little circled beaded pieces, which will be sewn onto the cart. As I'm working on the cart, I've been working on it this evening, literally just weaving as I go. And I find for myself when I'm doing the weaving, I'm taking the process, I'm able to cease all the noise that's in my head. And when I put that into the cart, it's over there. It doesn't belong to me anymore. And for me, I get peace from that. It's been incredible to work on this. I bet maybe, what, 4 here that I've shown you. I'm like a beast with these carts. They're all over Jersey City. If you see carts, you can bring them by 150 Bay Street. The doormen downstairs know that carts get dropped off here, and they're like, okay, they just text me and tell me, somebody dropped off some stuff for you. Yes, there's lots of carts. I've also found how I can go get these carts without sort of like recovering them off the street. One of the amazing things with the carts is when I'm spray painting them out back, the homeless people have seen me with the cart and asked me to hook up their carts too. Every single one of these carts has been refurbished, and you might see some brightly colored carts from homeless people downtown Jersey City. Yes, that is my spray paint that is hooking them up. And you know, there's a lot of conversations around these carts that people have. Some of these carts that came with their own stories imprinted on them already, which is a big part of how I work, is taking these memories and collecting them. So people move their whole lives, they move their studios, they move their houses. And some people literally live in their, live out of these carts. So I really appreciate the opportunity to share. And again, thank you to Art House Productions, and congratulations to all the artists that shared this evening. Thank you.